And as promised, the third video of how to go from A minor to F in this study. So here's your A minor. And by simply adding the middle finger, finger number 2, to the second string of the 6th fret, I've got F. Okay, so let's just quickly recap what you've learned in the first two videos. You've learned A minor goes to G like this, or I can go A minor to G like this, like that, for example. I've learned in the second video I can go from C to A minor, and I've learned C I can do this because this comes from the G-shaped chord. And I can also, by the way, take A minor and also bring the pinky there, because the note C is common to A minor and C. The note is common to both. So there's C. And that's quite a nice way of getting a sort of a continuity, so like a theme between A minor and C. But we said we're doing A minor and F, so let's get back to that. Okay. Now, what I'm hoping is that by now you'll notice that a lot of the chord shapes are similar. A minor, as we said, looks like this. To make it into F, all I do is middle finger, second string, fret number 6. That's my F chord. Now, this note's actually not in the minor pentatonic here. It skips from here, it doesn't play that note, but that's in the chord. This note comes from what they call diatonic scales, and a diatonic is a fancy word for a 7-note scale. So if you know your major, or sorry, your minor pentatonic, I was going to say your major range of scales, that would just confuse us. If you know your minor pentatonic scale, and you go diatonic, you'll notice I've added in some extra notes. A lot of extra notes inside there. And if I go backwards, there's my note for F. Works quite nicely. So now what I'm trying to lean towards over here is saying, well, it's good to know your diatonics just as well as you know your pentatonics. Remember, penta means 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you repeat it. Diatonic means 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you get to your octave. So now if you know this, and I'll just play it through one more time slowly, it's not the complete scale, it's just part of it. It's going to start at fret 5. And I want us to know this because it's going to come in handy for the F chord specifically, and also for other chords later like D minor and various other things like that. So now I can go A minor, and they are capitalized on the, which I couldn't do before because the pentatonic didn't offer me this note. But that note, as we just learned, is part of the F chord and it's part of the diatonic scale. So to recap, pentatonic 5-note scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, octave. Diatonic 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, octave. We got this. Okay. Now, A minor F, one more time. I can do A minor. And now I've gone to F down here. That is the basic F that I'm sure you've learned a long time ago when you first started playing guitar and you thought to yourself, why F? Why is it so important? Why can't I get an easy way to play it? End of the day, we all got it right and we all like the chord after all. Okay. Now, the advantage of knowing movements give us slides. So I can do something like this. Works quite nicely for the slide. And I can slide back to the A minor like that. So it's nice to know that I can move if I want to get a slide. And it's also nice to know that I can actually play everything sort of in one position. So if you want to recap this whole thing from video 1, 2, and 3, I can play A minor here. I can play G over here. Not really a big move. Or I can play A minor and G over here. And I'm repeating a lot. I want this to sink in. I want us to be happy with this. And now I can go from A minor to C like that. And now I can bring my pinky in. And I know I can play A minor to F like this. Now, if you know the notes in your chord, A minor has the notes A, C, and E. C major has the notes C, E, and G. So the only difference between A minor and C is one note. The one's got a G and the other one hasn't. And then F has F, A, and C. So you'll notice the note F is also common there. Sorry, the note C in the chord F. Okay, that note is again common. So if you want to establish a theme, and you've got a progression that goes, for example, C, A minor, F, which is quite a popular sequence. I can do C, A minor, there's F, and from there I can go to my G. One more time through in the breakdown. C, A minor, F, G. C first of all. Going to the C note there, A minor. Going to the C again. Going to the C again, and then G. And then I can use that note which comes from the diatonic for the G. So I've got that sort of C on the C chord, C on the A minor chord, C on the F chord, B on the G chord. One more time through. And it's nice to know your shapes, because your chord shapes and different voicings also let me know my target notes. And the target note is normally the note I want to end on. I can't just end anywhere, because if I end on the F note, for example, and the chord being played is an A minor, I'm going to have this sort of happening. And that doesn't sound good, because this E is from the A minor chord, and that F's from the F chord, so clash time. But if I know my target notes and I know my shapes well, I can see that if I'm going to phrase towards an F, I can stop on that note, 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 because those notes are my notes inside the chord shape. So the chord shapes, the chord voicings, and that's what sparked off this whole 3-video study. Voicings, ways to play chords, ways to play common chords. If we know the voicings, they show us physically. I can see the target notes without even having to think, well, that note, what is it? Oh, it's an A. What note is that? Oh, it's a C. I don't even have to think that. And that comes in handy from playing in weird chords or weird keys like E flats and C sharps and things like that, because I've got movable shapes. Check it. For example, there I just transposed up to D, and I didn't have to think, what are my other chord tones, what are the target notes. I just took the same shapes I was playing here and transposed it automatically. So it's a nice transpositional tool to be able to know how your chord voicings work. Okay, quick recap before I say goodbye. And what we want to learn from this over here is, first of all, some major voicings. This is your one major voicing. Your root note is on the 3rd string, so you must know that that note is C, and this will give you then the C major chord. I must know that voicing, which comes from the F shape. I must know root on the D string, also C, C chord. I can also play this major shape. That's my root note this time, and it's coming from the C shape, which means the pinky should actually be there, but we're going to create an inversion scenario. I'll explain inversions, but not today. Okay, root note on the middle finger, that's F, F chord. I know my A minor shape, minor root on the 4th string. I know I've got another way of playing minors by doing this. This is an E minor, for example, and the root is sitting over here on the 2nd string. And I also know from there I can bring my pinky in as well, so I've got that, so it's another minor shape. And one that I didn't use for the study, unfortunately, just because of how the chords went, is I can play this minor shape. It's also a very cool way of playing minor. You can see up nice and close there, 1st finger, 2nd finger, 3rd and 4th. And the root note for there is on the pinky, the 3rd string, and this would be a D minor. And all these chords are movable. Okay, movable chords. That's your clue, that's your cue. Okay. Hope you enjoyed it. Any questions on the voicings, let me know. Hope you got some cool and try little phrases. Nice little. Nice way to get around between chords and just simply play for the sake of playing. Sometimes I don't want to sit and say, well, how did Sweet Home Alabama go, and go. Sometimes I don't want to just play a song. Sometimes I just want to pick up a guitar and just jam for the fun of it. So to say goodbye,